Welcome back, everyone. This next panel discussion will be with the Centers for Decision Making Supports, Tennessee. And this session will provide an overview of Tennessee's newly established Center for Decision Making Supports. This is a website and staff team dedicated to helping people with disabilities and their families find objective, easy to understand information about a range of decision-making supports, including conservatorship. The panel will include Lauren Piercy. She's the executive director for the Tennessee Council on Developmental Disabilities. Penny Johnson, she's a program coordinator for Tennessee Decision-Making Supports with ARC Tennessee. And Cameron Hurt, who is with Disability Rights Tennessee. So I will turn it over to them. Thank you guys for doing this panel discussion for us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I am Lauren Piercy, and I'm going to start with a few overview slides and turn it over to my colleagues Penny and Cam for a tour of the website of the Center for Decision Making Supports. And they're going to really do the meat of the presentation. But I wanted to start out today with some context that predates Penny and Cam. The disability community, advocacy groups like ours began a collaborative effort to look at decision-making for people with disabilities in about 2016. Speaking personally, that's when I joined the effort. And about that time, this concept of supported decision-making was just becoming a buzzword, and dozens of states in all of our national networks prioritized this topic. Excuse me. So between 2016 and 2020, we hosted hundreds of trainings and presentations. Some of you may have attended some of them. We had national experts on supported decision-making come into the state and talk with stakeholders. We did focus groups with people with disabilities who were either under conservatorship or subject to it previously, and just tried to wrap our arms around this topic, as you know, extremely complex. So this all predates the Britney Spears national news that has been happening. It predates COVID, and it certainly predates the Center for Decision Making that we are talking about today. And our key takeaway from these years was that individuals and families needed an easy to understand information source about decision-making resources all in one place. What we heard over and over again was, my school told me I needed conservatorship, but there was no actual real assessment about the person's decision-making capacity or any guidance for the family on how to do that. There was no guidance for families unless they had access to a personal lawyer about what are the other options and what are the risks of the other options. And to be frank with you guys, some of you may remember, we in 2016 did an effort in the legislature to try to get supported decision-making codified into our state law. And that's when it was really eye-opening for me, just speaking personally, about the risks of the alternatives to conservatorship, about the potential for exploitation if someone does need a conservator and doesn't have access to one. And then on the other hand, we all know from things like the Britney Spears case and others that there are risks of someone being in a conservatorship that is either not appropriate, too broad, etc. So risks on all sides. And what we came down, it took us many years to figure this out. What we came down and thought, okay, this is an elephant. The answer is not to push everyone into supported decision-making, and the answer is not to push everyone into conservatorship. What we really settled on was we want people to make their own decisions based on clear information and access to people who can help them. So that's kind of where we landed around 2020, and the backdrop for why we, the council, invested in the Tennessee Center for Decision Making Supports. We joined with the ARC Tennessee and Disability Rights Tennessee to launch it. And the goal is to offer information and referral to families so that they can make an informed choice that is best for them. The center does not promote any certain type of support. So it's not anti-conservatorship, it's not pro-conservatorship, it's just the facts. And seeks to ensure that Tennesseans can make informed decisions about their own unique needs. This includes referrals to conservatorship, and we want to partner with CAT on this. So a little bit more on the nuts and bolts. We, the Council on Developmental Disabilities, funds and helps guide this project. The ARC Tennessee is really the lead. They facilitate an advisory group of stakeholders, and in consultation with the advisory group, developed and manages the website, which we will show shortly, and provides information and referral to individuals with disabilities. So this means that we give the information without weighing in or judging good, bad, right for you, not right for you. And we refer individuals to lawyers if they do need that legal advice about the risks that I mentioned earlier. Disability Rights Tennessee assists with that legal advice. They're not able to take cases and they're not able to provide conservatorship, but they do help look at things with a legal lens as they are attorneys. And what we want to talk to you about a little bit later is, in order to refer individuals to legal resources, we are putting together a directory. So we want to know if an area in Tennessee, let's say someone calls from Pulaski, Tennessee, we want to know the lawyers in that area who work on quote unquote special needs issues, if there are conservatorship lawyers in that area that we can connect them with, especially if there are lawyers who are willing to work on a sliding scale or pro bono basis. So we mentioned the advisory group who helped come together and conceptualize the center and then look at all the content on the center. So we have our three organizations, of course, as co-founders, and then we have a legal advisor. It was part of CAT, Susan Mee. Amera Group is a managed care organization which provides care, healthcare to many people with disabilities and is often right in the crosshairs of conservatorship issues and helps connect us with people who need support and information. So Amera Group, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and United Healthcare. Also state departments, the Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities and the Department of Education, and parent advisors. And our parent advisors also happen to be in their careers a disability service provider, a special education teacher, and a conservatorship lawyer. So we have a really diverse range of experiences through those three people. And two persons with disabilities who need assistance with decision making have also been at the table. So at this point, I want to pull up the website and ask Penny, Johnson, and Cam to help walk us through it. And Penny, I'll share the screen and then you can just help me navigate through it, if that's okay with you.
Sure, that's fine, Lauren.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep, I see it.
All right.
Okay, so again, I'm the coordinator for the center and the person who kind of walks people through how to use the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to explain to you what's on here and kind of how you can utilize it, or a family can utilize it to find the information that they need. And again, this is no right or wrong answer. It is not to tell them what to do. It is to just give them information and help them sort through, based on their situation, what options might be good for them. So on the home page, and that's where we're at right now, Lauren, if you want to scroll down just a little bit. We start off with talking about what is making decisions, and the fact that it's hard to do and that everyone makes decisions for their life, but it's especially more difficult for someone with a disability. And these choices can be anything from where to live, how to work, to more complex things like medical decisions, managing money, just a variety of decisions. And that everyone has a different level or ability to make these decisions. And when someone with a disability is making these decisions, it's important to have family or caregivers or other people that can help support them. It also explains that this website is for not just the individual with a disability, but for families and caregivers and support professionals, educators, anyone who needs to know this information to help a family can access this center and help use it to guide a family through this process. Okay, you want to scroll down a little bit farther to the next section. So then the next thing that we do is we actually explain 2 terms that they will see, or whoever uses the website will see throughout the website. And those are understanding what supported decision-making is and decision-making supports. Since the words are very similar, we really want people to understand what we mean when we're referring to that. So as many of you may or may not know, supported decision-making has a very broad understanding nationally, depending on the state, depending on what their state legislature and laws are. So since Tennessee doesn't have an actual what's called a supported decision-making law, when we're talking about supported decision-making, we're referring to the idea that a person has a right to make decisions to the full extent of their capacity, even as they get needed support. So what do we mean by that? What we're saying is that supported decision-making should be a practice that families do, teachers do with someone with a disability to help them expand their capacity, to let them have a voice and input in the decisions in their life as much as they're capable of doing. And that being said, that means that supported decision-making could be working hand in hand with more formal supports. And that's why we want to make sure people understand that we're not referring to a specific document, not a legal form that is a supported decision-making agreement, although that is possible. But when we're talking about supported decision-making, we're talking about the practice of supporting people in their decision-making ability with their capacity. Then when we talk about decision-making supports, we're referring to the actual forms or formal agreements that people might need in getting that support for decision-making, such as a power of attorney, a conservatorship, a healthcare directive, healthcare surrogate. There's more formal supports that are put in place to help someone with their decision-making. Okay, Lauren, you want to scroll down a little bit farther? So then the next thing is as we say, so where's a good place to start? One of the best ways to start is by using the LifeCourse Exploring Decision-Making Supports tool. It's a tool that asks people questions and help them find decision-making supports based on their needs. So what this tool does, again, it's not a formal assessment by a psychologist or anything like that. It is just a tool to help the family and the individual figure out how much help they need with decision making and in what areas they need help with decision making. So then it explains to learn more about the tool, just click on the button below where it talks about the LifeCourse tool, and then that will take us to a page. You want to go ahead and do that? It'll take us to a page that explains how to use this tool. Okay, and then you can go ahead and scroll down. So when we're talking about this LifeCourse tool, it has what's called domains of life. There's 6 different domains, and I'll show you the tool in a few minutes. And within each domain, there's several questions that the individual can answer regarding that particular area of life. And within each of those domains and every question, there's 3 possible answers. I can decide with no extra support, I need support with my decision, or I need someone to decide for me. So the purpose, again, of the tool is just help the individual and that person helping them fill that form out to really kind of get a gauge on the amount of support they need. When we talk about I can decide with no extra support, what we're talking about is they don't need any formal supports. Like they don't need a power of attorney. They don't need a healthcare directive or a healthcare surrogate. They don't need a form to decide to make that final authority for them. They just need what we would call natural supports or informal supports. And that would be like family, friends, trusted advisors, people who can just help them really think through the process and let them make that decision. When we're talking about I need support with my decision, we're looking at a more formal decision-making support, but not a surrogate decision maker. So that would be like a power of attorney, durable power of attorney, could be a rep payee, because you have rep payees that an individual can assign, or you have rep payees that are assigned and the individual doesn't have capacity. So some of these supports can go either way. And then I need someone to decide for me. That's the category where in some area or many areas, that individual does not have the capacity to make decisions. And again, this is just a guide to help them kind of get an idea on where they fit. And then if you want to scroll down a little bit more, Lauren, then again, it talks about how there is no right or wrong answer, that this is just a starting place. And then it gives an example that let's say in several areas, you check the areas that says I need support with my decision. You might want to start there in that category when you get to the resources page, and then kind of learn more about other services. And then it also talks about the resources page, and that's the page that helps you kind of figure out how that tool can guide you to picking different options that might work for you. And then you can scroll down a little bit farther. And then you see that there is a button here where it says, now that you understand that, let's go look at the tool. And then you want to go ahead and click on that. So as you can see, as we're looking at this tool, it has the top part where the individual fills out, or whoever fills out who the tool, who's going to be, or who the tool is for, who's helping them fill it out, their relationship, how long they've known that individual.
Sorry, Penny, I'm trying to get a good view.
The three buttons in the white part, and that'll blow it. There you go. That works too.
Okay, I want to get this part off. See if 2-page view is better. No. Aha. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
So as you can see, there's on the tool, there's several different domains, and like daily life and employment, healthy living, social, spiritual, safety, security. There's another one down there, and community living. And again, all these questions, you have the 3 different categories. And what is good about the tool is, one, again, it helps them think through this process of what kind of help they need and how much. But this is a tool that people could use one time, or they could use it every year. Like if you have someone who's on the IEP, or maybe at a yearly plan where they're actually working with an ISC or somebody, some kind of case manager, to actually monitor the decision-making capacity and even see areas where they can help them grow out of needing help and maybe learning decision-making in other areas. So the tool can be used in many ways, but for our purpose of our website, again, it just guides them through choices on the website. So Lauren, you can go ahead and click off the tool, and we'll go to the resources page. So once someone completes the tool, then ideally they can go to the resources page. And at the top of the resources page, it explains again about making decisions and the fact that it's just one step at a time and determining the amount of help you need, that there's no right or wrong answer. And it talks about using the tool. And again, you can access the tool from here. And then it also talks about a stories page, which we have, and that's actual stories of individuals in Tennessee who use decision-making in different ways. Some of them have conservatorships, some of them don't. Some of them have a variety, like a combination of maybe a rep payee and a power of attorney. So each person's story is unique. And that's what we want to stress to people is there is, like Lauren said, it's not all or nothing. You could have a combination depending on their capacity. You may someone may have a rep payee and a power of attorney. They may have a conservatorship and a rep payee. It just depends on what's best for that individual. And then you want to go ahead and scroll down. Then when you look at this, this part of the website, this is where that tool is helpful to them. As you can see, we actually have 4 categories instead of 3. The only reason we added the first one, I need decision-making support for someone under 18, is because even as we were developing this, we would get a lot of questions of that transition age and parents saying, well, my child's, 14 or 15 or 16, and, I need to know what to do to prepare for this. So we realized that we really needed to add a category for teenagers or for children. So parents can be thinking this way, but really what it explains to them is that in this level of category, the individual is under the guardianship of the parents. The parents have the sole decision-making authority. However, parents can start working with their loved one to learn how to make decisions, and it teaches them about supported decision-making and some other options. Lauren, we can quickly click on that one, and just so they get an idea of what's on there, and then we'll go to one of the other levels. So if you want to scroll down. So in each of the levels, what you'll have is you have a description that talks about, in this level, this is what this means. As you can see here, it says the person's under 18, their parents are their legal guardians to make decisions. And then if you scroll down a little bit farther, we also have in each category, we have a button for supported decision-making. And again, because we're looking at it as a concept and a practice to teach someone how to make decision-making, we adapt it to that level. So at this level, if someone wants to learn about supported decision-making for a minor, they would click on that box where it talks about supported decision-making, and it would say, this is what supported decision-making is. This is how you can apply this practice in this person's life based on their age. And it's, again, it's geared toward that age level. Then we talk about guardianship, able accounts, and special needs trust, because those are things that a parent could be looking at for supporting to prepare for their child while they're still a minor. So let's say that's not the area for you. Let's go back to the resources page, which you can back button, or you can go up to a link where it says resources page, and it has a drop down. So let's say on this form that there were many categories or many areas where I need support with my decision. So then what you would want to do is look at, I need support with my decision, and click on that area. And again, scroll down. And then you can see here again, what it is there are many different things listed, and just pick one to click on, Lauren. Doesn't really matter. So let's say someone says, well, I need to know more about power of attorney. What is that? Then you'll see it lists power of attorney. It says what it is. It has everything, again, is in plain language and simplified. We're not using technical legal jargon because we want to make this available to and self-advocate as well as their family, and not overwhelm them with too much technical information. And then also it talks about different types of power of attorney in this case. Then it says, how can I learn more? If there are actual statutes in the law for a specific thing, like for conservatorship, durable power of attorney, healthcare directive, we actually have a reference to that statute so that they can also look it up. So, and every one of those boxes are the same. You click on it and it takes you to the page regarding that box. So real quick, we want to go to back to our resources page, and then we will look at conservatorship, since this is CAT, and it's important to know like what's on there for conservatorship. So at this level, again, we're talking about a surrogate decision maker, that the person at some level does not have capacity, maybe for anything, or they may have limited capacity. Okay, and again, it explains all of that in the beginning part about what conservatorship is and what this level was for. Then if you want to go down farther, and again, we have supported decision-making, because even at this level, if someone has capacity in any area of their life, they can still practice supported decision-making. And let's just look at conservatorship real quick. So with conservatorship, this one is probably the longest one we have on here. We list about what it is. We talk about a full conservatorship, a limited conservatorship. We even talk about conservatorship of the person, conservatorship over the property. And again, just basic information for people to understand it. What does Tennessee law say? And we have that in there. We also have what their rights are based on Tennessee law. And then we even have best practices based on the National Guardianship Association and what they recommend, so that someone, again, could get a good understanding of what this is for and what to do with it. And then again, with any area like a power of attorney, conservatorship, durable power of attorney, anything that is a more formal legal document, we always recommend that they contact Disability Rights Tennessee to answer legal questions, and where they can also be referred to our email, phone number. You can send an email through the website. So I'm not going to really waste your time with that. The stories page, like I said, it's different stories from individuals who are willing to share their situation. It has a thumbnail, and with that one as well, Lauren, if you want to click on one of them, you can click on that if you want to learn more about how decision-making works for them. And then there's a little story behind that. that way you can understand more of how this family applies some of these decision-making or supports in their different areas of life. And with that, the only other thing that I would want to share is, Lauren, if you go back to any one of the pages and you go do the drop down on the resources, just to show them the resource directory.
Great. I'm trying to move it and it's not at the moment. So let me just refresh here. Not sure why I am stuck. There we go.
Just go to the resources drop down, and then it should be the last one. Yeah. So you can also reach any of the levels from that resource drop down. You can reach the LifeCourse Tool, and then also this directory, which is just a directory of different resources related to disability services that would also be related, that would have anything to do with conservatorship or alternatives. We will be adding more to this as well, and probably even looking at definitions and then extra tools and links to like the Office of Conservatorship Management training. And again, a lot more resources we're going to be adding to this. So with that, we're done with the website tour, and I will let you. Oh, one more thing real quick. Lauren, show them the accessibility. I forgot about that, which is very cool. We totally forgot about that. And with this, the whole website can be translated to 120 different languages. The one that is like black, that has like the little bitty things on it, is the language translation. It's right between the purple and the green icon. And 5 or 6 of those are able to be read. So if you click on that black one next to that, next to where you're at, the black one with all the little like colored things on it, that one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the languages. If it has the voice thing, then it means it's also being able to be read audibly in that language. And then also where you see recite me over to the left, if you click on the arrow, once you do that, and then you point to anything on any of the wording on the website, it will automatically start reading it for you. I don't know, depending on how the share is, you may not hear that, but it reads the whole website. So if someone has a problem, then there's also vision. It changes to vision. It changes to dyslexic. It changes to all different types of adaptations for people who need accommodations. And with that, we're done.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you.
Tam, do you have any remarks to add before we keep going?
Oh, I'm completely sorry, I was on mute. No, the only thing that I would add is that this is the website is such a great tool because of its plain language and how it just really is a parent's dream come true for information that they would need. That would be the only thing that I would add though about the website. Is this is very good. Oh, and it's also great for our educators. It gives them a lot of information that they may or may not have. And if they have to ever prep before an IEP meeting or to get a deeper understanding and clarity, then they're able to go to the website to fulfill that. That's all.
Thank you, Cam.